Suk morning to you and yours. It's Suk News Television and your opener for the day that helps you rile things up in a very positive and special way. My name is Hans Mba. Welcome to Suk Business Landscape. Here we take a look at business headlines from various key business publications from across the world, from continent to continent, from Nigeria, all around Africa, to Asia, to Europe, to the Americas, Australia even. Especially as we look at this, we see how it concerns us and most likely how it can or should apply to us in Nigeria and Africa. Remember, follow us at Suk News Television and engage with us on YouTube across all social media with the hashtag SBL. Right? Respond, engage, comment on headlines that interest you. It's Suk Business Landscape still. Hashtag SBL across all social media. Let's interact with especially the headlines that speak to you personally. Again, my name is Hanson, but let's get right to it. Business Day, Nigeria. FG cannot touch 600 billion naira CBN overdrafts. Lawmakers say they have unlocked over 600 billion naira. We mentioned this on Friday. And the headline on Friday was that the federal government were going to dip their hands into that kitty and begin to spend it, of course, accordingly. But the lawmakers are saying that that amount that has been unlocked, the overdraft, cannot be touched. Next headline, crude supply drags as NNPC show modular refineries. Wow, okay. Still in the oil sector, there's been a lot of back and forth, especially coming off the grounds of the back and forth with Dangote and the government. So we'll see how this plays out as the days go by, especially this week, this funky week of protesting. Senate proposed insurance reform bill overlooks low penetration. Senate proposed insurance reform bill as it overlooks low penetration. Insurance is a key part of what we must do as individuals and as businesses, but we'll see what this reform bill is about as the time goes by. Business Daily in Kenya, off to the next publication. Banks, media top spenders as advertising budgets jump 21%. Banks, media top spenders as advertising budgets jump 21%. So with thousands of Kenyans increasingly adopting the use of personal care products such as hair and skincare products, this report goes to say that it is mushrooming and Kenya's beauty industry. Now, the personal sector emerged fifth in advertising. That's something that also is happening in Nigeria, if you ask me. That and the organic food sector. But this says it ranks fifth in advertisement and advertisement spend during this year, and it totals to 4.9 billion shillings. That's a lot of money, especially in Kenya. Next headline, Kenya woos mining investors with lower gold royalty fees. Here, the Ministry of Mining takes this charge in the hope that it will attract greater investment in the nascent industry, which is gold. And this is showing that miners now pay a 3% royalty on the gross value of gold extracted. So if this is a favor for the miners, since it's gold, of course, gold is gold, I don't know if that concession is something that should be considered or looked at. All right. Horticulture exports rise to 47 billion in the first quarter. Horticulture exports rise to 47 billion in first quarter. So we're talking 2024, the months January to March. So the sector's exports rose to 47.6 billion in the first quarter ending March. and it was helped by the weakening of shilling, the currency in Kenya, which made up for reduced quantities shipped to Europe and other markets. Now, data also shows that sales from cut flowers, fruits, and vegetables in the review period rose to 17.5%. Horticulture, even, business is looking good. Debt servicing costs rise by 435 billion shilling on weak shilling. The currency is telling not a very good tale. So it cost taxpayers an extra 435 billion shillings to service high public debt. High public debt is quite a problem, and in the year January to June 2024, half the year gone, as foreign and as expensive obligations for their foreign counterparts exacerbated by a weak shilling came due. So lastly, the problem is the weakening of the currency of the shilling. Off to South Africa, business day. So 2 pot boosts for household incomes. 2 pots boosts for household incomes. So the Reserve Bank expects an increase of anything from 33 billion rands to 79 billion rands, which is good news. Costs, poor markets deter new entrants. Costs and poor markets deter new entrants. This is still in Business Day, South Africa. SARS to net 4.5 billion rands from SAB tax dispute settlement. SARS to net 4.5 billion rands from SAB tax dispute settlements. South Africa can create 275,000 green jobs by 2030. 275, I beg your pardon, green jobs by 2030. That's good news. Green jobs, actually going green, we're talking in the environment and other things. Everything green is looking like the way to go. That's one. Secondly, on a few occasions, we talked about it on this show, where we know, apart from it being good, being sold to us as good, it's also a costly thing to be involved with, a costly gesture, and we're looking at how that can be mitigated with people like UN and WHO in the works, in the mix. All right, business standard in Bangladesh, this time all the way to Asia. RBI may hold repo rates and high food prices. RBI may hold repo rates amidst high food prices. Relief for home owners likely as Finmin may modify LTCG regime. Relief for homeowners likely as Finmin may modify LTCG regime. For those interested, this one is on page 2. Catch it. Lenders vote to liquidate Go First due to low bids. Lenders vote to liquidate Go First due to low bids. All right. Also, we're looking at first, CNG vehicles ride past diesel in sale race. It's a first here. CNG vehicles ride past diesel in sales race. This one catches me. iPhone export surge catapults electronics to podium position. Podium position way up there. So there's a chart. If you find the news, there's a chart for Apple domination. And there's also a chart for India's top 5 export charts. We're talking phones now. That's on page 6. Catch these headlines, put it in perspective. Cheap China imports may hurt investment plans, right? So this is coming from Tata Motors, Tata Steel, actually. Tata Motors and Steel CEO TV Narendran, MD CEO of the company. And he says that the low cost of imports from China into India is impacting steel prices and may hurt the investment plans of steelmakers, that it's a problem that needs to be looked into. China into India, it's something China is known for, and although China is also known for high end. What the issue is with China, there's a spectrum. So there's the extreme left, which is the really great quality product, amazing, durable, and on the other spectrum, there's the really whack and below standard, and you're asked to choose. So that's what the MD CEO is talking about here, that it is hurting the steel makers and the business. Off to Qatar, Gulf Times. Hamad Port achieves 10 million TEUs since its inception. So TEUs are 20-foot equivalent units, right? So the port of Hamad, which is the largest, by the way, in the region, as one of the largest green ports as well, not just the largest, but we're talking about green. And because everyone is going green, this is significance here. And they saw them clean out, just single-handedly, they clean out over 3 other ports put together. So that's something to look at, those interested in that, in the port of Hamad. And it reports here, U.S. Embassy in Doha seek innovative projects to boost ties with Qatar. U.S. Embassy in Doha seeks innovative projects to boost ties with Qatar. So the U.S. Embassy in Qatar has announced a notice of funding opportunity. This is part of the initiative, an initiative that was introduced that they intend to use as a tool to boost their ties with Qatar, right? So what happens now with this is non-profit organizations and individuals as well are invited to submit applications for funding. And we're talking funding that's between $10,000 and $100,000. This is mainly to support projects, advance sharing, U.S. and Qatar values, and bilateral cooperation. This also is in alignment with strategic themes and priorities. So they're doing this to boost U.S. Qatar. Again on the show, we've had some endless celebration of Qatar and how they're doing business out there. So U.S. sees this as well, and this is such a great incentive to use to pull them in and be a part of the robustness that's going on in Qatar. The great thing is others are going to benefit from it, NGOs, individuals, and entrepreneurs as well. India, Qatar to expand cooperation to new areas. India, Qatar to expand their cooperation into new areas. So the thriving and robust India-Qatar relations, with an annual trade volume of $16 billion, are set to grow higher with collaborations in several new areas. So they're looking at ways to open up new opportunities for both of them, like what US and Qatar are doing. So this time it's for them to get involved and see how they can explore new areas, as the headline says. Second half of the show begins, but before we jump right into Financial Times, I want to introduce you to my guest analyst in the house. He is none other than Dr. I like to call him Doctor because he's so vastly equipped with intelligence and intel on what's going on around the world, and as a specialist in his field. Mr. Sam Orovwuje, welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
Great.
Please,
Nice to be here.
Nice to be here. You want to tell them your portfolio a bit before we jump right into the crux of things?
It may not be necessary. Let's just go straight into the issues of the day. So
Well,
that
you
can get
look the
cracking.
part. You look the part, so I'll let it slide.
Yes.
Right on to Financial Times London. Private capital firm invests $160 billion deal making freeze begins to tour. So there's a freeze that is beginning to tour. Four of the largest US private capital groups deployed more than $160 billion in the last quarter as they ramped up investment ahead of an expected full throttle revival in deal making. Let's get that headline again. Financial Times. So if you're interested in numbers, we're talking private capital firm invest 160 billion deal making as if the freeze begins to tour. Is there any views on this, or we should just move on?
No, I think that shows the muzzle of that private capital firm towards investment, and I think before they have made that kind of massive investment, the return on investment as well will be substantial. So that again will reflect the economy and improve on those portfolios where those investments have been placed towards enlarging the economic growth of those specific countries where those investment has been made.
Right. Brazil minister warns carbon credit buyers to beware of fraud. The Brazil minister warns carbon credit buyers to beware of fraud. So Environmental Minister Marina Silva says alleged criminal schemes in Amazon could harm reputation of credits. Your thoughts?
I think because of the increasing climate change issues and action, whereas carbon credits are supposed to be incentive towards climate change actions. Therefore, a lot of people have had the potential to defraud based on those incentives. So the minister is putting a warning signal to people that though carbon credits are very essential, but people should be wary on the kind of carbon credits they should look out for. Therefore, they need the state to have a clarification towards those credit carbon that are incentive for climate action and climate change.
Awesome. This one catches my eye keenly. What might Kamala Harris, of course, what might a Harris foreign policy look like? So from personal experience, top reporter Anne-Marie Slaughter says Kamala grasps how, and I quote her, how domestic political divisions can undermine American power abroad. So this is such a it's trending, if I will use the word that everybody will get, talking about the tenure or the turn of a female, not just a female, but a black skinned American as president, and people across the world are looking at ways it will affect them. First, America and other ways. So this woman from the publication delves in and talks about how she thinks Kamala would do. What are your thoughts?
Essentially or fundamentally, foreign policy is an extension of domestic policy. So the idea that Kamala Harris belongs to various races, if you like, that represent interests of migrants into the American community, so to speak, portends some new development in terms of foreign policy, how it will shape migration into the American space. Number two, first black American woman who is coming out strong against Donald Trump. If you look at the poll that was just pulled over the weekend, the percentage has changed by 2% in favor of her. So the idea is our ability to be able to debate Trump strongly, and the support base that is having from black American and other people, particularly in terms of migration policy. the issue in terms of foreign policy agenda, if eventually wins, people think because she's somebody who is a migrant, whose parents were migrant originally, he might have a good policy regime that will favor other migrants and particularly Black American.
Right. But, sir, you must know that despite the 2% up for her, Trump is still looking at clearing this, like many says, allegedly.
Yes, just like they say even in Nigeria that 24 hours is a long time in politics. And I think the changing dynamics of the American politics remain to be seen. And as we get closer, and I'm sure where the debates are up, I'm very strong that Harris be able to debate Trump in spite of the overbearing influence of Trump in terms of his mannerism that doesn't have due regard. Those are my words for co-contestants. So what is important is that it's an interesting time. Only time will tell. But I know that the dynamics of the American politics will change radically with the presence of Kamala Harris.
Thank God it's still in the offing that she's not there yet. Okay, UK Chancellor to court investors in New York visits. So Rachel Reeves will attempt to sell Britain under Labour as a stable place to do business. People have been known to stay away from the UK more recently, business-wise, economy-wise. Why do you think that is? And I feel that's the reason why Rachel Reeves is coming out to actually make this state this.
No, I think the point is this is a new government moving away from the conservative to Labour Party. So it's too early in the day to feel that investments will not come into the UK. I think people are just...
So, but I beg to differ a bit. How many have they had in such a short time? 5? 6? That's worrisome.
No, the time is short to have a full understanding of the core issues in terms of investment. The UK is undergoing some critical challenges,
yes.
But mind you, once there's a change of government, people wait a little while to see the policy direction of the government before investment flows into those countries. So in my view, I think it's early in the day to make a judgment on the veracity of the business climate in the UK, particularly under Labour. If you go back in history, Labour did remarkably well when they had the opportunity in the time past to be in the saddle. But let's just wait a little. Even the last government had major challenge even before this Labour Party came in. So it will be too hasty. Yeah, too hasty. Like a logician would say, that would be a hasty generalization in terms of how we look at the UK investment climate, in my view.
Okay. Next headline. World's biggest lithium producer urges states help to compete with China. Earlier in the show, we talked about China and India and the backlash they're catching from what's going on currently in the steel industry. So here, lithium producer urges states help to compete with China. So US-based Albemarle cuts expansion plans amidst struggles for processor of key minerals for electric cars. They're asking, can anybody really compete with China when you talk about production and the quantity we're talking about, which is why they're asking for help? You think even with that help, can this come to pass?
Yeah, from a business perspective, anybody can compete. Once your competitive intelligence and your strategy is well sought out, then the issue of competition, there's no cast in stone people who do business better. Once people have good strategy and they have a competitive benchmark, anybody can fight competition, even as strong as China. So it's just the efficiency of utilization of capital and labor. Once this efficiency are able to be benchmarked with the level of competition currently, I don't think there's no company or no country that competition cannot outshine once the strategy is right.
Yes, efficiency across board, not just in one or two, and longevity too, because China is no small fry, right? No small fry. We're on to India. Financial Express. Life crippled, economy bleeds. Simple headline. So fresh bloodletting clashes prompt reinforced curfew and closure. India, life crippled, economy bleeds.
Yeah, India, even Modi has done remarkably well. But when you look at the
Yes.
ethnic problem in India, it remains to be seen how he's able to manage the economy when there's so much crisis, particularly violence, that has negative impact on the economic growth, particularly some of the gains he has made in India.
Mm.
So these issues, particularly this ethnic problem, must be solved by Modi to be able to sustain the economic imperative that he has improved upon in the last few years that he has been saddled with the responsibility of managing India as a country and managing the economy. So he has to strike a balance with the high level of ethnic conflagration that has overtaken India for a very long time now. So I think a dialogue in terms of trying to see how they can use informal network to see how various ethnic groups, particularly the Muslims and other Indians that are often in conflict, is resolved for the betterment of the general society in India.
Thank you so much. You just heard analysis from Mr. Sam Orovwuje, so I'll let him go now as I run through the rest of the headlines for want of time. Still on Financial Express, economy size of Bangladesh $460 billion plus. Next headline. That's the most we can take. Let's not push it. It's you just had a good time on Souk Business Landscape, our breakout show on Souk News Television every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Remember to call the phones on the websites if you want to sponsor or be a partner to this very beautiful show that looks at businesses, investments, economy across the world. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Hans Mba. Stay tuned for more programming on Souk News Television. Have a lovely morning.